Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us for our finale of Campaign 1. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on YouTube every Friday. But let's go ahead and start the show. So ticket takers, you find yourself here on the ground of Alyria, the wreckage of the Temple of the Nine around you, the sounds of battle washed away, looking around at your allies and friends, bloody, many of them beaten, bringing Soris back with a dagger, as well as I think Anzel and Bolton there at the end as well. You find yourself in a moment of peace and quiet here after months of fighting and planning and trying to stay one step ahead of enemies that were seeking to undo everything. So as we come out of the battle, the ley lines of magic now settled back into the earth, but clearly disrupted as Jury and Abel and Kaimana can see the twisting weave of magic still kind of coursing through the sky. But the sun is shining, the veil gone from your vision. Nothing but Caiaphas remains. What would you like to do?
You said nothing of Caiaphas
Nothing
remains?
of Caiaphas remains.
I would like to go around and spend my remaining spell slots with healing words.
Okay. So everybody heals up. Probably not to full for the entire group, but definitely wounds closing, kind of feeling some energy coming back to you in this moment.
Do we think that when the veil went away, the denizens of the veil went with it? Or do we think that just the cover went away and now they are free range to be hunted?
You glance across the former area of the battlefield, and the most prominent member of the veil that was still present at the end of the battle was Javaraya, who had tumbled out of the air with Naginda grappling her wings to her body. And scanning the immediate vicinity here, you can kind of see a quarter of a mile to half a mile around you in all directions. You do not see any evidence of Javaraya appearing to have been sucked back into the veil.
I would really love to go see if I can find Naginda.
Okay, so you make your way towards where Naginda was last kind of seen falling. And so you all watch as Mar kind of heads off down this hill deeper into Alyria, kind of weaving through cities and streets. And you find Mar a building that was probably once a tanner's house or a leatherworking space. There's the remains of dried leatherworking items outside, tools, but there's rubble and it's scattered from what was two large bodies slamming into this space. You find Naginda breathing and alive, as I rolled a 10 on his check. But he is battered and beaten and bruised, and just to the bare moments of all of the energy that he had. If the veil had not vanished in that moment, Javaraya would have been able to finish him off.
When I go up and place a hand on him, he's still in dragon form, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to go up and place a hand on him and just look at him and say, "It's done."
His long neck kind of curves around and he lifts his head quietly in your direction. one eye kind of closed, scratched from Javaraya. And yet the world doesn't feel all that different. Maybe we were just waiting for this moment all along anyway.
Well, but it's still here.
Thanks to you and your friends.
And you were a pretty big part of that too.
I would say help, but you see him kind of slowly begin the transformation phase back down into his smaller Lutrinian form, and he lifts himself up, and you can see his leg is maimed beneath him, and he needs your help kind of getting up and walking.
Yeah,
I would
I
like
give
to
him
help.
the last. I give him the last healing potion I have, and then
Okay.
I just like hug him gently because I mean, like he's obviously battered, but like
Mhm.
you know.
It's interesting, Mar, when you hug Naginda. There's always been an element of Empyreans when you've been in contact with them that felt like a contained presence of some greater power. And it feels somewhat diminished. But there's still something there. Do you think, were there people? He's looking around at the destruction in the area. It's rather quiet for a war zone.
Oh, jury told some people, and I think evacuations were able to happen.
That's good. Well, I'd much rather be somewhere other than here. Shall we go back to your
but-
friends? Oh.
Nikinda, you ever been to a casino before?
I can't. I don't know what that word means.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to change your life.
Well.
God of change. and then I start helping him. And I assume the group followed me.
No,
I
I
follow.
didn't. I didn't follow you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure he didn't.
Source,
Then I
Source
kinda
and
turned to-
Kaimana, I
Source
think,
and
wouldn't have
Kaimana
let
came.
you.
Yeah.
I turned to the rest of you guys. I'm just gonna look at him. No?
What are the rest of you doing in this moment after the battle? Jury?
So if Abel's with me,
Yeah.
Abel, will you roll up with me for a second? We're gonna go over to Volmir Rylas.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go feel him out.
Okay.
Out. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
fill him up.
It's not my type.
So you walk up to Volmir, who is healing from the wounds that he had suffered in the battle, but is still very much, you can tell, under the watchful gaze of Lenaria and Persephone, who are near him, but are definitely keeping a watch over him. And he kind of looks up and doesn't say anything at your approach, but just is eyeing you both down.
Hey, I'm sorry things had to happen the way they happened. But Mar, you're not there. I see you. But
What are you sorry about?
I look at Abel.
You're muted,
Well-
Ronnie.
Had to pull out those tech skills.
So he had just said, so what do you have to be sorry about?
I look over at you, Abel, and then I look back at him, and I'm like, Well, the more important thing is thank you for fighting with us.
This was how it was always going to go. Either my father taking care in the end. You just carried out his wishes.
I think we carried out our own wishes.
Surely.
Always have to have the last word. Okay. Wireless is.
I am curious. So what will you do now, Volmir?
Well, I would imagine, and he kind of glances over at the two Mistweavers. They probably have a comfy home for me for some time. Isn't that right, Lenaria? And Lenaria Mistweaver just kind of looks at him and then just shakes her head, doesn't respond, doesn't give in to his call.
All right, good talk. All right, Abel. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore.
Abel will resist the urge to say something snarky.
Growth.
That's something.
Growth.
Bro.
How
Can I have
widespread?
regrouped by this point?
Yeah, you all
Sorry.
could have gotten back together at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do what you were gonna
How? I know there's a ton of destruction here in the center by the temple. What does the rest of the city look like?
So the temple district is mostly gone. And then there are scattering elements where like the larger chunks of the temple kind of slammed into areas around. But for the most part, the damage is heavily contained within this region of the city.
Is there still a random pyramid sitting where the palace used to be?
There is still a random pyramid sitting where the palace used to be.
How'd that get there?
It's a good question.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, I mean,
I know what it's shaped like, but
yeah, a ziggurat.
Lenaria says, well, it was after the events of the king's birthday, some kind of magical machinations, probably of the evil sort, the shadow trying to cause disarray or disruption within the city, allowed this to be teleported here from some other plane of existence. It was home for some time to a mummy lord who was making the area around it quite difficult to live, but an interesting group of people went in and saved it. No, it was I think Lady Mizmira herself kind of championed a group of individuals who went in and took care of the mummy problem. Unfortunately, the pyramid did not vanish when the mummy was dead, so it seems as if they may be trying to incorporate that into the rebuilding of the castle.
well, if there's no palace and a perfectly good pyramid, I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Yeah, just kind of changing the overall imagery and skyline of the city, I suppose.
It's a really innovative idea. We should thank the band of adventurers who were brave enough to overcome the mummy lord.
Yeah, are they in the guild?
I don't believe that they have any official organizations or groups.
A non-union.
Right, yes.
And if there's a right to work state.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
Sorry.
No, we will not support that. All right.
Can I, after, as this conversation is going on, can I also go say something to Volmir? But I want to do it, really casually, where no one else notices that I'm going over to Volmir.
Sure.
Except for, the people
a
who have an
dagger
equal
between
eye
his
on
ribs.
Volmir.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hi.
Hello?
Why'd you send them away?
Why did I send who away?
You sent Callian and Amalia out of the fight when it looked like they were very injured and going to go down. It wouldn't. Why did you care if they died?
I understand that you view my father's work and my work with such an evil lens. But our goal was never to see the death of people. It was to prevent them. And if I have the power to save someone, why not use it?
That is.
Whoop.
I know you don't view yourself as evil, but I hope one day you are able to look back at the things you and your father did and realize the sacrifices you tried to make would have never been worth it. And whatever you say about how this was all for the good of the world was for the good of you. And you know that.
And he kind of looks out beyond you, beyond the city to the skyline. And from where I'm sitting, it all kind of looks the same.
I feel very sad for you that you see it that way. I am thankful for you for saving my friends. I hope one day you get better. I leave.
All right. Around then, the sky ship that was kind of, he teleported further a distance, kind of flies back into the area, and settles down, and you see Amalia and Callian kind of coming down off of the sky ship from where it landed, and immediately running to Marlowe. And Amalia, taking you into hugs
all around.
I want to go hug Amalia too.
Yeah, absolutely. They are
You
there.
hug Amalia, and then you like look, and Callian's there, and you're like, oh, we're not.
Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to angle it so I don't get Callian.
Yeah. All right. But as the day here is leading towards night, where do we leave the ticket takers here on the final battle, the day of the final battle?
Well, Mar mentioned a casino.
Oh yeah, we're going to the casino.
Okay.
And
Sure.
I think we stay at the Naiad's Bargain, and Source wants to play a song tonight.
All right. So you spend.
Josh,
go ahead.
very, very briefly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Before, I need to ask them what happened to my dad. Is he alive? Hello, everyone. My dad isn't accounted for.
So as you guys kind of make your way to the parts of the cities that are away from the temple district, and people are beginning now in the aftermath to take grasp, notice like what remains, and the area around Naiad's Bargain and the Marid's Wager is relatively untouched in the theater district, and just as in any entertainment district, is open for business. And as you're heading that way, Jury, you kind of take grasps of what happened at the Blight, and from that conversation, you learn of Sumat's sacrifice. Killed by Javaraya. You hear of Thornton Braid falling in battle. You hear of Kratos Hawk dying in battle.
I hate that guy.
And the airship did suffer many losses. But before they teleported away, the last thing that they saw was that your father's airship was flying higher than the Veil and seemed to be still intact. But
I guess other than that,
Yeah.
is there any? Once you take stock to see, is there any allies or companions that we have that, other than Kratos, Hawk, Thornton, Braid, that we may have lost, or anyone of note that we would count among our friends that we need to?
So as you're kind of going through, they're not, because they kind of left the battles at different times. Their understanding and knowledge of what exactly occurred at the Blight is somewhat limited. But they do say, well, most of the people that were at the Blight are accounted for here. You've got Lunaria, Persephone, Orisha, Callian, Alora, Bolton, and Zell. Lord and Braid did not survive. So you're not sure what happened to Seraphina, the Seafoam Empress, Magus Arcanus, or your father you think is probably safe, but don't have the final word on.
Yeah.
Soros is going to kind of ask around town just to find out if Uriel, Dane, and Tarlo are still around.
Okay. So as you guys make your way to the casino and you begin the process of trying to unwind at the casino, you are asking various different people. And what kind of is revealed is that both of the Dane and Whistleton, with the return of King Renly, had absconded from town and had not been seen.
Nice.
Good riddance.
No, I wanted
Did we
him
track them down?
dead.
Yeah, I was planning to make a midnight visit and send somebody to the Veil,
Yeah.
to the
It's been an unanswered
Shadowfell.
question of if they lived or not for so long.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But that they have that when it was revealed that Thornton was in the process of bringing back Renly, they made their way out. So they still are out there somewhere.
Do we need to go shopping, Mar, at Tarlo's estate? Because he had that hidden room that where you stole the wave dancer.
I mean, he probably took what he could.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think we can probably just don't. I think we should just maybe get his museum to be publicly owned, and maybe start doing some investigation on who he stole that stuff from, and maybe work on getting it back to the original owners.
Good idea. I hate that fucking museum.
Yeah.
I would love to see it closed.
If you were closer to dying in that museum than you were on the battlefield today, and that is remarkable.
I really was.
Yeah.
But Kaimana saved my life.
Our skills have improved since then, so I wouldn't put too much weight on that.
I mean, I think you did great in that museum, Jury.
I'm never going in that museum ever again.
Don't have to.
Ever. You can't make me.
I'm not.
I didn't want to go the first. I didn't want to go the second time.
What if we skywrite an invitation to you?
That ain't gonna work. Last time I tried Skywrite, didn't work. Nobody listened.
Yeah.
Right. So as your day of kind of unwinding from things here, you end up at Naad's Bargain for the evening, and Soros makes a deal with Tallulah to play.
And he plays. It starts off on his piccolo. It starts off a lot of random cacophony and quick little runs, and it slowly evolves over time. And what you realize at a certain point is he is playing the story of his life on his piccolo. And there are points where each of you come in and you get your own little theme that interweaves through various parts and eventually comes to a big finale.
So this may
I
be
applaud.
the final roll of Saurus for the campaign. Make a performance check with advantage, Saurus.
Oh my gosh.
And I have proficiency with my piccolo. It's my proficiency. Ooh, I forgot.
Yeah, you do.
+6, +5.
First one
Only
was an
Ronnie
8.
appreciates
The second
me.
one was
I tried
first
to
one was
hold
an
it in.
8. The second one was a 13. So a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. So as the song builds and swells and goes through the various stages of Saurus's life, you all watch as Tallulah the nymph, kind of standing at the back, releases a single spell towards the end, and you just see this explosion of energy around Saurus as minor illusions of like synesthesia of the story that he's telling, like in a almost abstract representation, the swaths of colors, but you can recognize the deep blue with the scarf flying out of Marlowe. You can see the green and bright colors of Jury. You can see the whites and blues of Abel, the browns and sea greens of Kaimana, kind of in those abstract artworks. And Saurus, at the end, you have successfully completed your deal.
Yay! Thank you.
Yay.
So
Took a while, but
so Tallulah comes up to you afterwards and says, well, on such a day as this, I can imagine that is a welcome balm to the spirits of listeners. What can I offer you?
I pull her to one side and I tell her what you and I have talked about,
Okay.
which I expect won't be revealed until the next morning.
Yep. All right. Anything else in this final evening as the sounds of the piccolo kind of repeat and are echoed magically throughout the evening as you're drinking and reconnecting this small bar, fairly full, but all entirely of your friends and family?
Do we go to the casino after?
I need to rest. As much fun as it would be, I am tired.
Yeah, I think we chill.
There will
Like
be
I think Mar stays up drinking a lot with like
Mhm.
the late night crowd. I don't know who the late night crowd is, but
Mhm.
you know.
It's me. I still can't get drunk. Fuck my fucking
No,
life.
yeah, I think you still have like a couple
Damn it.
days left, Jerry.
that's just a permanent curse. Lord.
No, it's
No,
just
it's like 13
No.
days or
13
something.
days, yeah.
I just picture when it wears off, all the drinking that Jury did hits at once.
And he dies
Injured
immediately.
I would literally die. I was drinking like a crazy amount.
Just passes out drunk in
Yeah.
mid-sentence. Just, yeah, that's...
Oh my god.
So as you one by one kind of give in to the exhaustion of a day and a half of travel and fighting and here recovery, one at a time, falling asleep or heading up to rooms and going, eventually, Mar, you find yourself kind of with a Jury at the bar just really upset about the lack of alcohol having an effect. And you just hear a voice next to you siding up. Well, I guess it's time I buy you a drink after all this, isn't it? And Enzel is sitting there at the bar next to you.
That is very weird that hasn't happened before, but I guess a lot of our time together was spent on battlefields.
Huh. Well, and she kind of motions and Tallulah sets 2 drinks down in front of you. Well, I mean, I guess there's no better way to get to know somebody than to see how well they wield a sword.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
perhaps we can start from here. I'm Enzel. Nice to meet you.
I'm Ma. Nice to meet you too.
And as the evening goes, we kind of pull back from here at the Naiad's Bargain. And while this adventure and journey may be over, it's not the end for our friends. Plans are made for a memorial. The grounds of the temple are going to be turned into a park of remembrance for those who survived through 2 subversions, for those who did not. And the noble adventurers, the true first of their kind in Alyria, who ended the terror and grief and allowed the country and world to at last become unstuck in the malaise of uncertainty it had been trapped in for over 2 centuries. But you all will not find yourselves at the dedication of this park and this memorial because pomp nor circumstance is any of your styles. But in the year to come, before we gather again in happier, healthier times in the town of Broadfield, where do you go from here? So just in the next year, where do we find ourselves? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Source.
Do you want to reveal the boon?
It'll be part of Kaimana's thing. Yeah. So, yep. So Jury, where does Jury go the next morning, waking up and heading out? What's the next year of Jury's life looking like?
Oh God, I have to go first. Crazy. So are we doing multi-years or is this kind of
this is just like, so we're going to have like the Baldur's Gate epilogue in Broadfield, and then we'll do the future here. So just a year, a year of life in Jury.
So, Jury goes to Broadfield. You know, it's been tough. And he looks at Broadfield, and he looks at everything there, and he's like, if I can't find my city, I should make my own goddamn city. And so he starts his campaign to make Broadfield the newest up-and-coming fucking city. Putting infrastructure in it, like, getting people to move there, like, whole hog. Essentially, he's like the ghost mayor. And just tells what's his face what to do.
Yeah, at some point, Rolling Longbranch is just like, I just honestly have to say, you really have a knack for public service.
Yeah, I was a noble in Anarvir.
Oh, well, not any longer because you're here now, right? And
yes.
You're going to be an honorary member of the Broadfield Council, and you're going to make everything so much better.
Yeah.
And in the middle of Roland talking to you, a portal opens behind him. And you see
Fascinated.
Beyond it, the waving fields of the Feywild.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. I, like, pushed Roland aside. Physically move Roland out of my way.
Excuse me. And then
sorry.
But he turns around and he doesn't see it.
Whoa, weird. Roland, I think you need to check the milk supply. He's very busy.
Oh, we have been massaging the cows of late. They should be producing beautiful quantities of milk. And he goes to check.
It being a coffee shop is so much smarter than a fucking bar, Roland.
But as soon as he exits out of the chamber, Nairoy, who I'm sure has joined you in Broadfield, comes in.
I hope so.
And he kind of looks up and he sees the portal beyond you.
You see it?
Is it time, do you think?
I thought it would be like way later.
Oh. You know how Fey bargains go.
I like step just like a little bit closer to it. And I'm like, Mom?
And a white rabbit pops out of the portal and kind of dusts himself off and then stands up. Oh, hi.
Hi.
I am speaking, of course, to Juridan.
Are you like an actual rabbit or are you like a druid rabbit?
I don't know what a druid rabbit is.
Cool. All right, actual rabbit.
I'm not an actual rabbit.
You're like a fae that looks like a rabbit?
Bingo.
Cool.
That's my name-o.
Bingo?
Mm-hmm.
Bingo was his name.
Oh, okay. I'm regretting maybe going where we're going. Okay.
Oh, it's not time for you to come here. Just letting
Oh,
you
thank
know.
God. Jesus
So
Christ.
you've got your mother said that it's about a year. And so you've got a little bit of time, unless you want to come now, I guess. I mean,
Nope, I'm
okay.
good. Nope, got stuff to do.
Just letting you know, things are shit here, so just be prepared.
Is like
Rightfully so.
the war is still happening?
Oh, yeah.
Does she think it'd be over in a year, or does she need us to come help in a year?
How long? I don't know how long it's been. How long was it since your mother?
Yeah, a year.
Oh, no, it's been much longer here.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, can you give her a message?
Sure. He kind of checks his pockets. I don't know how to write.
Okay, I'll write. It's just like, hey, Mom. Me and Dad working on a big project. Hope I can tell you about it soon. I guess I'll see you in a year. A lot of question marks. Love, Jordan.
All right. He kind of puts it in a little pouch on his side, and he's like, well, this was your warning. Next time you see it.
Great. All right, bye.
And he does a backflip, and the portal disappears.
God, Fair's so weird.
Nairoy had ran out and grabbed all of his luggage. He's like,
No, we're not going yet.
oh, okay. Well, I've just been ready. I told you, I'm just ready to go whenever.
Yeah,
it
but like
happens.
if you didn't have to get ready, then we could be like, oh, we need a few days, or something.
I don't
guess.
know. I didn't want them to come take you in the middle of the night and me not
Wait,
be
you've
prepared.
packed? I haven't packed.
I've packed for you too.
Aw, that's great. I'm so glad you're here with me.
Well, don't. If the portal opens, I need you to let me know. I
Okay, she said a year.
from now or like total.
Oh shit, I forgot it's like Feywild time. Maybe.
Well,
From now?
I'll just stay ready.
Okay. I'm gonna actively try not to think about it.
All right. So as Jury's year continues, you just maintain your time in Broadfield.
So Jury's further plan, if you want to know what continues to happen from here, it involves our good friend Abel here. Me and Abel, along with my dad, if he did survive, indeed.
He did.
I proposed to him that we open a sect of his college and me and Abel run it in Broadfield.
Oh, so
it's a bardificing academy.
the bardificers.
Yes, we're bardificers.
All right. So you are in probably by the time the year runs out and you begin to see Broadfield preparing for the remembrance of the first day of the Adventurers Guild, which is now going to become kind of this public holiday in Broadfield. It was really probably your idea, not Roland's, to manufacture this kind of tourist attraction, once a year festival built around the Adventurers Guild. But you are just in the process of probably being ready to open the doors of your Bartificer College as the preparations are beginning to be made for this festival.
Sweet. And I would just invite everyone to it. Everyone's expected to be there, all of you. So
Good. You can time the grand opening with the Adventurers Guild, and then everyone will be there at the same time.
Perfect.
All right. So zooming out of Broadfield for that time, Saurus, where does the next year after the final battle take Saurus?
Well, starts off, he goes to Nuevia and spends some time there. Actually, talks Orisha and Ogawan into helping him with something. He goes to the magic shop where you can buy anything and gets a special scroll. He and Jane continue to go on picnics. It's very sweet and very slow, and they just enjoy each other's company. And while they're not a formal couple, they definitely enjoy spending time together. And at a certain point, they move back to Broadfield.
I was going to say Jane would have eventually suggested that. So good. Yeah.
And what they have decided to do is they, since we have promulgated the appreciation for Northwick buns across the entire continent, I'm sure Menorah is in high demand. So he and Jane are planning on opening a Northwick bun franchise location in Broadfield. And they are going to use the proceeds to buy a patch of land out where they had the first picnic, kind of on the edge of the river and the land, and do a wildlife preserve for animals that were in cages or captured or in circuses and did not want to be there, but didn't have any place else to go.
Yeah.
He comes up to Abel one day and says, basically, I worked with your mom and dad on a present.
No.
And he's got this little thing, and basically it attaches to your magnificent mansion, and it's a fully outfitted artificer's shop.
Oh,
Whoa.
He's like,
nice.
it took your mom a while to figure out how to vent forge fumes into a pocket dimension where it didn't suffocate everyone in the house. But she's brilliant, so and I've got something for Jury, but I need your help with it.
Just say the word and I am there to help.
So we go find Jury, and Soros asked to hold your tea mirror.
Sure. And every time I see Abel, I say business partner. Jokingly now.
And Soros gives Abel a scroll and which is magic, and asks him to cast it on the mirror.
Okay. I've never questioned you before, except frequently, but not about this kind of thing.
And at the end of it, basically he'd worked with the Mistweavers, and what this does is your mirror can now look across planes, as well as within it, so that you can see your mom.
Oh, thank you, Soros.
Sweet.
You're a treasure.
And he just enjoys the days.
Yeah.
And for the first time in his life tries to actually, and I think succeeds to a certain degree, of having a normal life.
Yeah. And watching Broadfield grow with you in the year that you and Jane are establishing this. You take over the branch of Northwick Buns that Menorah had built here in Broadfield, because she is opening a bigger and better shop in Alyria. And you just are watching Jury running around, and Sora running around, just making, just taking Roland Longbranch to task. And this quiet
I'm sure
city
we
is
get press ganged at some point into some of the schemes, and
but while the city is becoming a bustling center of trade and commerce, you're finding quiet places where you can relax and enjoy life for the first time in many, many years. And you kind of are also going to be there at the center of the festival preparations beginning. But as we kind of pull back from there, Abel, where does the next year of Abel's life take you after the battle in Alyria?
I think that Abel's done a lot of growing. So, obviously one of the things he's going to be doing is spending time in Broadfield with his new business partner and brother in magic's Jury, building this new Bartificer academy. And I can convince Jaren to come along. And
I want to hire Jaren, so you need to bring him so I can hire him for cheaper.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll and spend time there, helping to build a foundation for the next generation of performance-based artificers, because that's a thing. That is a thing.
It could be. Music is math.
Yes. And come up with interesting little music-based weapons that they can use with jury's approval. Also, spend time with, before I left for the final battle, I left Jiren with some blueprints for some ideas that I had come up with in the puzzle box.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll spend some time working on those and making sure that the new defense force for Nuevia is starting to be manufactured. Is a small fleet of mechanical flying dragon mounts that Abel calls the Dragon's Horde, as a way to sort of fortify Nuevia's fighting capabilities. And in the future,
well, just in just the first year.
Okay, well, the first year, that's what I'm working on.
So you guys kind of develop a prototype, and do you spend time in Nuevia as well as in Broadfield?
Absolutely. Well, there's some political work that needs to be done with the upheaval of the prince being revealed as a Rakshasa, and the city being attacked after it's recently taken to the sky. So I'll split my time between Broadfield and Nuevia in that first year, just trying to rebuild and fortify things.
So as the time comes for the festival to arrive, Abel leaving Nuevia with Jiren aboard an airship heading back to Broadfield, waiting to know that you'll be reconnecting with friends that you maybe hadn't seen as familiarly as commonly as normal. But Kaimana. Go ahead. Yeah.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the first things that Abel wants to do is to get a petition started, or maybe ask permissions of the leadership of Nuevia to give official citizenship to the ticket takers and our friends to Nuevia. So if they decide they want to live on the Flying Island Nation, they have rights to do so. Even if they want to maybe join a council or hold some type of office in Nuevia, they would have the rights to do so, because if they're going to help to save the nation, they should have rights to live and make decisions about its future.
Well, I think that's a good point to talk about some changes that happen in Nuevia in that first year, as the questions about politics and governance become something that people can actually deal with now that the threats of the world are gone. The sovereign opens up the Nuevian government to a electorate, and the sovereign maintains an executive power, but the law-making governing body is elected by the people. And the first high archon of Nuevia is elected as Ogun Abioye.
Ogun!
And the
well-deserved.
The refugee area where many of your friends and family had gone before the Veil problems began, many of them moved back to their various different areas around Alyria, and that refugee center area is turned into a public park, and those houses become the homes away from home for any ticket taker that would like for them to be, as you are all extended citizenship to what becomes Nuevia that partners with the other free cities into kind of the city-state coalition of the free cities, and is now part of that greater network of society floating high above the clouds. But as Abel heads back to Broadfield for the end of that first year, Kaimana, where does the year take you?
I am going to
his wake up.
Oh yeah. So Kaimana, as you awaken the day after the battle, you see yourself in the mirror for the first time, and the grays around your muzzle are gone.
What happened?
You're not sure. But you, for the first time in a while, feel like you are you again, that you're not older than you seem.
So 12.
Yeah, you're just 12 again.
I'm not sure what happened, but I feel blessed.
Does Saurus admit what he did to Kaimana?
No, but he shares it with Mar.
Okay. So Kaimana, you come down, and everyone kind of sees that you've changed, and the day goes, and then where do you go from there for the year before your return to Broadfield?
I am going to take the ship, the something ticket this way comes, and
Okay.
I'm going to go home and address the Matriarchy Council.
Okay. So you return back. You've got the something ticket this way comes. The rats are with you, and
because Jury insisted, I do take 2 weeks to take a captaincy course.
Yes, he has to at least learn how to actually fly. I knew he couldn't, but I can ignore it no longer.
The Nuavians are happy to train you on how to fly the ship better.
He actually knows how to fly now.
And Alembic takes the course with you, and so now you are both properly trained.
Fantastic.
But you make your way back to your island nation, and with the news of what had come. There was a brief time where this entire island was engulfed by the veil, and there was fear and terror. But then suddenly it was gone, and the sunlight was above. So you are welcomed with laurels and wreaths and a hero's welcome. And for the first time, no one questions Kaimana's contribution to that victory. And the space is given to you to address the Makuene.
Dear members of the Makuahine, I come before you today a changed Lutrinia. When I left our island, I was a small, inexperienced young boy. But now I have seen much and experienced even more. Our island was engulfed briefly in terror. And while we have a comfortable existence, we cannot stand still. I think we should take steps to ensure that our people are resilient. And the best way to do so, I feel, is to have our youth experience what I experienced. I would like for volunteers and randomly selected youth of our people to journey out into the world for at least 2 years. And to find maybe places they like that aren't here. So that should anything happen to our homeland, our ways will not vanish.
The Makuene, in response to your speech, all kind of look at one another, and then your mother, elected as the speaker of the group in this moment, says, if seeing the world has made Kaimana the great Lutrinian that he is, then it only makes sense that we offer that to every Lutrinian youth from here forward. They'll go on walkabouts just like him. but hopefully not after just getting lost the first time.
Yeah, they should at least have a pack of food with 3 weeks in it.
So they establish a kind of practice in Kaimana's name, and people from that point forward will go and explore the world and be able to see what is out there. A little touch of what's happening in the Vanishing Isles. Once part of a greater civilization called Suvanarion, the last remnants of that civilization being the Azalorians. Within that first year or so, a young Triton female, beautiful, wearing armor, carrying a spear, arrives on the shore, probably around the same time, Kaimana, that you're there, and proposes alliance with the Makohene and the Azalorian people to become a part of the greater Suvanarian kingdom that will once again exist on the islands that were its home hundreds of years ago. And many of the Makohene remember the stories of being part of that great, beautiful kingdom. And they agree to rejoin. And the wealth and the power of the Azalorians now give the people of Kaimana's island the ability to more easily travel and to explore and to study. And for the first time in many generations, a touch of magic begins to be born in some of the pups of that first year after the end of the subversion. But Kaimana, during your travels, a voice keeps whispering to you. You hear it kind of in the background every now and then when you're flying on the airship. After you speak to the Makohene, you just hear a voice of congratulations. What do you do?
I listen.
So at first, it's just an echo of words, of emotion. It's kind of unintelligible and unclear, but the more you listen, the more you give attention, it strengthens. As gods are empowered not of their own will, but by belief and reverence. So about 6 months later, on a cold winter day, wherever you find yourself in your travels around the world, right in the middle of the month of the stranger, the whisper finally breathes and is clear for the first time. The sliver of Caiaphas is reaching to you from the gem you still carry in your stone pouch. What do you do?
I am going to start making shrines to my version of Caiaphas.
Okay. Do you take out the stone and kind of speak to it now that it's speaking to you?
Yes.
And so the first time you do that, you are kind of pulled back into that stone space, and you see the tall, half-orcan figure of Caiaphas, but here, like a shade of him, like an echo, not tangible. There's elements of him that are see-through. And he says, well, it's taken me some time to reform from what was. Thank you, Kaimana. You freed me from the bounds of madness.
I mean, we all need time to find ourselves occasionally.
Well, I'm fading fast, and the stone's power is only going to maintain for a moment or so longer. You are the only mortal that I trust with what I'm about to ask you. The world of the dead is probably the only one that cannot exist without a guiding hand. There are still so many wandering and lost spirits. I would like to offer you a choice, Kaimana. I cannot make you a replacement for me, but I would like to give you the last sliver of power that I have to become a shepherd, to guide those who still rage and weep and wander to their final rest. Would you do that for me, Kaimana?
Will this help you be at peace?
I'm afraid I'll be at peace regardless.
Well, like more peaceful than like you might be if I didn't do this.
I'm not so worried about what it will do for me, but I think it will let the world be at peace if there's someone there that can guide the spirits to what waits for them beyond.
I will do this for the world, but I want you to know that I am also doing it for you.
And as the image of Caiaphas was fading, it finally vanishes, but the last thing on that orcish face is a smile. And you're pulled out of the gym, and you feel the gym itself kind of crumble and turn to dust in your hand and scatter in the wind. But looking out, and as the light dims on the cold winter's day, the first snow of the year falling, a blanket purifying the world, the ley lines dancing on the horizon, sometimes even bright enough for everyone to see. The first of many spirits approaches you, Kaimana. A young girl who feels lost, is looking for her family. She takes your hand, and you guide her on to home. Mar, what does the next year of life look like for you?
All right, I'm taking the puppet off my hand.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. You're muted, Mar.
Oh, I see. So Mar takes Amalia and tracks down Eris. And whether Eris wants to or not, they go back to Manor Dane, where they grew up together, and they begin to rebuild it. And eventually, once it's kind of, back to its original state, Mar collects her parents from Nuevia and moves them in there, and starts reestablishing a home.
Yeah. So quiet year of taming a home that had been abandoned for over a decade, making it look beautiful, repairing the abandoned nature of it. And as you reconnect with your family and with Eris and Amalia, who find a way to forgive herself for what she had done, and Amalia to convince Eris that she deserved that forgiveness and love. it's almost springtime again, and it's time for you to head off to Broadfield because you know it's time to reconnect with friends and family there. But looking out at the place that you've built, there's no evidence of a sadness or curse here. It's just a home.
At some point in that year, I think Mar would have also taken off by herself, as she is ever wont to do, leaving a note this time, and heads off back to her hometown and goes back to her original house, looks at it from afar, but doesn't feel the need to go back inside. And Mar heads off into the woods and looks for a werewolf.
All of your skills, the years of experience in tracking and foraging, and this is a home that you knew so well. But it's also the experience of that fear and terror of being one yourself and hiding away from people for so long that you know the places where one who doesn't want to be given into that curse might hide. And it's probably a month of looking in the northern area of the Veltland on a large island in the center of the lake. There's a dense forest that is untouched by many people, and you find yourself there and in a cave in the side of a hill. You see the remnants of small animal bones around the area, and you uncover and find Danton Fade. Here, not a 17-year-old boy, a 27-year-old man, unkempt beard and shaggy hair, and wearing loose leather clothing, cooking outside of the cave entrance when you approach. Who goes there?
Hi, Janton. My name's Marlo Abion.
I just, he kind of is looking at the sky, and you know that it's a full moon tonight. It's really not safe for you to be here, right now. Can I help you so that...
Danton. Over a decade ago, when you were lost and your family thought you were dead, on a full moon one night, you bit a little girl. And that was me.
Are you here? I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just
kneel down in front of him and hug him.
He kind of stiffly, like, he's in this moment thinking, are you here for revenge? Are you here to get payback? Is frozen for a moment. And then he returns the hug. But you don't smell like a wolf.
Well, you're very complicated set of circumstances. I am not one anymore.
Yes.
And I'm here to give you a choice. You can stay here. You can come with me, and I can either show you how to live with this, or I can help you for however long it takes to get rid of it.
If that's possible.
I don't know, but it was for me.
Will it be safe for others if I come with you?
You are just like me. Yes. Yes, it will be. And if you try to attack anyone, I will be right there.
Okay. Let me get my things. And he runs and grabs the smallest bag of personal belongings. And it's not clothing or things. It is small trinkets and objects. The things that a person who hasn't seen home for a long time would think were important. Small carved toys or things. And he quickly puts them in a sack and travels with you.
Yeah. And we do a quick stop at Manor Dane before, I think eventually on my way back to Broadfield. If he wants to, I take him to the Order, not so that he has to fight for them, but so that he can be with other Lycans and see that they're just like anyone else.
And it is on your way back to Broadfield on this journey. He does go with you. And you find yourself back at the Order. But it's not so much an Order anymore. Callian has changed, and the Order itself has changed. The veil no longer there. The dangers that they sacrifice so much to fight seeming not to be as much of a concern. It is a space of refuge for those who have been bitten, but do not want to be the creatures that curse may make them. And Danton finds a home there with a overbearing blonde trainer guiding him in what it means to control the wolf, as Yara has returned as well.
I give her a good fucking head just if she gets too harsh with him.
Yep.
A loving one.
A little loving tap. Good.
Just a reminder of her place.
All right. But with everybody returning back to Broadfield, we'll go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break, and then we will rejoin ourselves at the festival honoring the ticket takers 1 year from being an Adventurers Guild, and finish out the stories from there. So we'll take 5 and come right back. Thank you, 5.
And Mar is always going to be the alpha wolf, even if they're not a wolf anymore.
And someone has to remember it.
In the year 326, in the Riverlands of Alyria, converging destinies will rejoin 6 adventurers together. Here, in the heartland of the realm, far from the rebuilding Anarvir or the unveiled lands beyond, a traveler is approaching the town of Broadfield. Once just a farming town, a ramshackle smattering of small cottages, an outpost for the watchmen to provide law and order, a palisade, and an open central mall for farmers to sell their wares, it's recently sprung into the consciousness of the realm as the birthplace of the saviors of Alyria, the Adventurers Guild. Roland Longbranch, in his second term as mayor, has seen his vision of grandiosity for this sleepy hamlet realized with the help of Juridan. The legend of the ticket takers and their own contributions to Broadfield's fame has seen the town, now a city, nearly doubled in size. Old wooden homes find themselves beset on all sides by buildings of stone. Luscious gardens, shops and eateries, and large ornate buildings, and an aerodrome with 2 airships docked as a new stone and permanent archway over the city gates proclaims the crossroads of Alyria. It has been a year since a group of 5 adventurers first stepped into this sleepy hamlet, and today a festival is being held to commemorate the sacrifices and victories made in their journey. Approaching the outer gate, many of the local farmhands and townsfolk from nearby settlements are coming into the sound of music and laughter, but one lone traveler stands apart. Entering the gate with a careful and perceptive eyes, seeing them and whispering, "Is that them? Do you think? Could it be?" For a moment, strolling through the street unaccosted, they find themselves standing in front of one of the newer shops, a 2-story, beautiful wooden construction, large bay windows in front, a whimsical carved door with colored glass, and a sign in careful script, Menora's Bakery. A smile surely creeping across their face as they catch the reflection in the large mirror for the first time. Jace, what do we see as Mar approaches Broadfield again, just as you did in the beginning?
Oh.
So, Mar is in a much more, I think, casual fit than you've seen them. Still made for adventuring, still, boots and longer, tougher pants, but a lighter jacket, rolled up sleeves, an unbuttoned shirt to a degree, and scars on display without noticing, worrying about them. And the hat, of course. The hat is always there. And as they're walking through the streets of Broadfield for the first time in a year, they go, "Okay, Ma, well, you've talked to hundreds of people in the past 2 years, so you've got this."
Strolling out of the bakery, the door opens, a ding goes off, and whoever is working the bakery on this day, hired by Soris and Jane, kind of waves goodbye to somebody as they exit, and stepping out in a simple bloused shirt, kind of a vest over the top, high-waisted pants going down and bloused into boots, and carrying 2 Northwick buns in her hand. And Zell walks up and says, "Honestly, if there's no other reason to visit Broadfield, it is to come to get a Northwick bun. Although
I knew we went crazy. It was life-changing the first time we had them, and I cannot express how wonderful it is to know that this was not just an us phenomenon."
I mean, it's the Anavir one has lines around the block all the time, and I hear they're trying to set one up out in the Veltland by personal request from the Lord of Manadane.
Well, what can I say? Keep him close to home.
Absolutely, and she hands
it's
over.
It's hard to ask Menora to ship in dozens by the week.
She hands over a pistachio and lavender Northwick bun to you and kind of cheers it. And as you're walking down the street together, there's a flash. We're in a space of timey-wiminess here. Mar walking down the street just as she did a year ago, but so much more confident and so much more assured of herself. We see a future. What does Mar's future look like?
So, I think it takes time for Mar and Enzel, because Mar never thought of herself as someone that would end up in a romantic relationship. But it gets there, and they do eventually, I think, have a very small wedding that Bolton Kuhn officiates. And
Yes.
And of course, the ticket takers are there as
Paimon is the ring bearer and can't give it up. No, it's shiny.
And I think what Mar does is it's a slow process, but they go to Nuevia and they pick up Vicus and they just start traveling with Vicus and Enzel. Like they said, they promised Vicus they would do, was show him the world outside of Nuevia and outside of his palace life. And when they're visiting all these different places, Mar, who cannot help herself, starts finding children and teenagers and young adults that are lost and don't have a family of their own and need and want something like it. And eventually it gets to the point where Mar establishes what isn't called an orphanage in Broadfield, but is a home for lost and wayward children, and runs that. And a lot of the time, the kids aren't even there. They're out exploring the world with Mar. But Mar is content in knowing that they're helping people find families the way they got to find theirs.
And that vision of the future, the laughter of children ringing in Mar's ears as she walks down the path here. Finally finding yourself in the central square, the guild hall bustling with activity, streamers and decorations. There's a shadow passes over the city as a brand new, beautifully constructed Nuevian airship flies over and docks at the aerodrome. And you kind of glance up knowing that it heralds the arrival of a friend that you haven't seen for some time. Abel. Your cloak whipping in the wind, you see Broadfield laid out before you. You're a year older and wiser. What do we see? What does Abel look like as he returns to Broadfield here for the first time?
Of course, I'm in my full Nuevian, just decked out for the celebrations. Jiren at my side, and also Alyria, who come to help celebrate the anniversary here in Broadfield, as well as a shiny little crystal spider who scurries along at our side. And I think Mom and Dad would come as well. We just come as a big family to celebrate our friends and allies and our newfound family.
Olga and Orisha, having clearly stated to the people of Nuevia, our son is being recognized. I do not think that we are going to miss this day. We are going to be gone for no more than 2 weeks. The city can survive without us. And they make their way there as the ship docks and you make your way down the aerodrome. Your steps echoing on the wooden like the wooden steps of the aerodrome almost take on the sound of the turning of pages in an ever expanding book as the years before Abel are read to us. And so what does the future hold for Abel?
Well, let's see. A few of the things that have happened. Abel will, at some point, he and Jiren have been dating for quite a while. And I think he'll ask Source and if they can use their space for a nice ceremony. Invite all our friends together and ask little Kaimana to officiate a dedication ceremony.
And I picture Abel asking Source for the space starts off with, "Come, let's get some ice."
How did you know? How did you know?
Incredible.
So we have our nice dedication ceremony to invite everyone together again to celebrate our decision to spend our lives together. So at some point, the necklace that we found on the Profane Citadel, or that was given to us by the Cloud Giant, I'll give Sharon the other half of the necklace to symbolize our dedication. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity while everyone else is together to explain to them exactly what happened to Aruman the day that we defeated him.
We better be at the bar when you explain.
Yes, this will be after all the festivities and the drinking.
I was going to say, yeah, no more secrets in a marriage.
I'll explain to them my thought process, but whether they agree with it or not. But I have plans where I won't be around, so I don't think that this should be in my possession anymore. So I'm going to actually entrust Kaimana with the device that holds Aruman's spirit, knowing that he is the new gentle shepherd.
I might not share that.
Oh, okay. Well, well, I don't know if that changes.
I mean, I'll still take it, but like,
I don't know if I want to burden you with that, though. That's kind of a big thing. I think
we could say you were trying to get rid of it, and Kaimana was like,
Don't
"I know
worry.
what I can do with it."
Yeah, we can have joint custody of Aruman's fucking soul in this box.
What I think I will do, I'll tell everyone, of course, yes, but I'll ask Jury to use the Bartificer School. I think if any place would be safe would be in a school full of magic and mechanisms, that we could find a safe place to lock this away. Sort of our own little, I don't know, chamber of secrets.
Yeah, that always goes well at a school.
Yeah. Notoriously went very well for them.
Yeah. Oh, some kind of big snake garden. Yeah, but
yeah, like a big petrifying snake, or I don't know. We'll come up with something.
But where the hell are you going?
Well, actually, I plan on, with Jurin and Amanera, going on our own little walkabout of sorts. So now that the new unveiled continents are exposed, Abel wants to take a small team to these new lands to offer assistance and establish connections with the people that have survived all these years in the Vale. So think of like a SG-1 type first contact, small group to see, what's out there, who survived, and see what help we could offer or what trades we could make. So that will be my next big adventure.
You should have told me you just didn't want to do the paperwork for the school. I understand. I'll handle all.
Jury's running a school in a city.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite things, but I think I can offer more than just paperwork.
If I
So
may,
for-
if I may briefly.
Please go ahead.
Marriage.
Oh man.
Marriage is what brings us
No.
together.
Oh, God.
Yay, joke.
Terrible.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, and Amanira, I guess I'll leave this up to Amanira. But we have been discussing the process that created Amanira. And with her being the only one of her kind and having more understanding of what actually brought her into this world, we've been discussing whether or not she would like to replicate that process and see if she wants to bring more of her kind into existence. The light forged race being the first of her kind and the mother of the light forged. But I'll leave that up to her to decide.
Anything
And
else?
then after some years of traveling the unveiled continents, maybe I'll come back home and settle back down again, but that's my plans for the immediate future.
And as a go
sorry,
ahead.
can I say this?
Yeah.
At some point, the owner of the Marriage Wager, Ferris Wynn, a deep investigation into her business practices was started, and she was jailed, I believe, at some point by the order of King Renly. And her business, I think the suggestion was made that Jordan should take ownership of the casino.
Jordan is now in charge of multiple businesses and schools.
I'm just moving the whole fucking casino to Broadfield.
Yeah.
Fuck Anarvir. I
That's
hate Anarvir.
with a partnership.
That's fine.
A partnership, Abel would definitely try to maintain.
Abel, you're
with
an
the
awful
casino,
business partner. You just keep giving me more
So
business.
campaign two.
You just keep giving me more businesses, and then you fuck off and leave with your hot husband and your daughter.
Hey, I'm willing to leave some help behind. There's
Who are you leaving behind?
I will train my predecessor to take care of the paperwork. Do not worry.
I look at Anansi.
Anansi could do the paperwork. That's
Probably.
true, yeah. So as there's a sound of mechanical workings and the castings of magic, and as we see this vision of Abel's future, there is a moment where, almost like through the fogged glass of a canister, eyes open for the first time, and they see standing in front of them an older, wizened Abel, a proud, ageless Omanira, as the first of many Lightforged are welcomed into the world. And you, kind of going back, the sounds of those steps receding as you make your way into the town of Broadfield, and you kind of approach this festival there before you. You see off in the distance a familiar white shape, already here in Broadfield, as he's made it his home, spending time along riverbanks with Jane and taking care of the animals and the shop. Soris, what does it look like for you as we see you for the first time?
Source is a little bit more casual. He still will wear his white coat, but more often he's got it off, and he still has his vest, but it'll be unbuttoned. And he keeps having to work out because he keeps putting on a little weight and has to wear it back off because he works cooking Northwick buns. And there are times where he will have the baker's apron on as he whirling dervishes around a kitchen with his speed in keeping multiple things cooking at the same time. Yeah, and the refuge is doing well. So yeah, that's and Source lives a normal life, and he'll still go adventuring from time to time, or things, or go to rescue an animal somewhere, or woe betide the Lady Haverleys of the world.
He's out here Ace Venturaing.
So
so as you kind of are making sure that the display for the festival of the fine Northwick buns is all ready together, you seeing the airship of Abel arrive, probably looking across the square and seeing your best friend arriving back in Broadfield for some time. Is there anything else in Source's future that we would see in this moment?
Eventually, I think he and Jane end up together. Kaimana forms the ceremony.
Well, now I feel bad for that.
I think Bolton was a good choice for that one.
No, Bolton was perfect.
I think yours was third, Mar, and it was after seeing Kaimana's first.
Right, I was like, I'm not having a 3-hour ceremony.
Mar is Source's best man.
Oh. Yes.
And Iris and
Phileas
Volt Switch show up. I think because they're reversing things, that Jane gets Jury to be the man of honor.
Sure.
Because of the connection with Vox Populi and that side.
Yep. And Jury hates performing, but he does perform for all of your ceremonies. Like it's fucking beautiful too. It's like almost obnoxious that he doesn't do this more often.
This really is Jury's town.
Yeah.
And I can see him with the menagerie. That there are a lot of any bun that doesn't sell ends up at the home for lost children, and they are regularly enlisted to help take care of the animals and learn about nature and responsibility and stuff like that. And
a beautiful, quiet end for someone whose life was brought into being through pain, to spend his days with the warm smell of fresh baked goods, clean air, and laughing children. And as we kind of head back into Broadfield on this day of festivities, bringing with him almost a chill in the air, Kaimana. What do we see as Kaimana finds himself back in Broadfield?
There's this like explosion of foliage as he teleports out of one of the trees in Broadfield and just like falls on his face into the dirt, because as try as he might, he still can't quite get used to it. And yeah, he flew around with the rats on the something ticket this way comes, just kind of making sure that they were going to be okay unsupervised for about a year. And then with their permission, kind of had them become the supervisors for what would become a training ship for Lutrinian youth who were nautically minded. And so it sails around every year with a fresh crew and then returns back to the islands, making stops along the way all through Nuavia, into what kind of become like almost like Chinatowns, but it's like Lutrinians in various places. And he kind of does start to realize that he needs to be apart from these people. Like he has his duties as the shepherd aren't conducive with the same kind of lifestyle that would necessitate him being this like father figure, both to the Lutrinian people and then also to the rats. So after about a year, he does kind of send them on their way. And I mean, using his own magic and also the newfound abilities he's been gifted with, he is kind of he's kind of like an electron. He's everywhere and nowhere at once in the land. People swear they saw him one day somewhere else, and it's like, no, he can't have been there. He was elsewhere. And I guess the legend of Kaimana and the shepherd start to deviate, because how could all the stories of Kaimana are so different from this new legend of, you know, of the shepherd guiding you into the afterlife. Because no, of course, the little Lutrinian who got drunk at a brothel and like
and swaddled
and was swaddled, they can't possibly be the same like person. So yeah, Kaimana's story, and as far as the world is concerned, kind of ends with the defeat of Caiaphas. And a different story begins about the Good Shepherd that other ticket takers may have heard of, may have not, but Kaimana doesn't bring it up.
Nice.
And I think in part because that's how he feels about Caiaphas. Is there was a bit of an image issue.
Yeah.
And if any of the ticket takers figure it out, they have the good taste not to bring it up.
Not to mention it, yeah.
I would never believe it.
Yeah.
It definitely likes the animal sanctuary that Saurus has. Like, I imagine little Saurus ends up there too at one point.
Who do you think I've got running it?
Well, I was going to say an extraordinarily...
Yeah, little Saurus.
Look at me.
Little Saurus, for one reason or another, it turns out to be an extraordinarily long-lived little creature. You'd swear they had a lifespan of only like 2 to 3 years, and yet it's year 10 and he doesn't look any different.
He's running the casino.
As long as he's far away from me.
But yeah, he stumbles back in to Broadfield, and yeah, there's a small chill in the air, and everybody around him doesn't feel off-put, but at the same time, there's a bit of apprehension they can't quite place.
Just as Kaimana has experienced everywhere he's gone, this story began long before the ticket takers were born, with a god who wanted everyone to feel the comforts of passing and the rights of every person to have an eternal and peaceful rest, and was hated for being that gift to humankind. But in many ways, Kaimana has repaired that image, and here arriving in Broadfield, bringing that touch of mortality, there is still the comforting nature of kindness, of being a shepherd. And it always follows you everywhere you go. Anything else for Kaimana's future?
Probably nothing we can get into before the group, but I'll have plenty to message you
Sure.
about later.
Absolutely. All right. And so Kaimana appearing out of a tree, seeing Saurus nearby, Abel walking into the square, Marlowe walking into the square, and then taking their place surely as a position of honor in the planning and the organizing of everything in Broadfield. Jury appears at the head of the festivities table. What do we see from Jury?
Jury, you see them. Hold on, I drew their outfit because, of course, I drew their outfit. I'm gonna put it through. You know, I had to draw their outfit. But you see Jury, and they're very sleek, almost businessy kind of fit. It still has the big sleeves and everything. He at some point made Kaimana put a bunch of shit on the staff so it didn't look so weirdly intimidating. So there's a bunch of random bullshit tied to it, but it reminds him of Kaimana as well. So you can see he's gesturing to the side of Saurus's bakery, where what they're doing is they're making a little mural of when he summoned the Northwick bun in the middle of the fight. And Jury's like, no, I don't look good in that. You just have to do it from like a different angle or something. It's not working.
Roland is like, Jury, we are 3 times over our budget on the mural.
Well, I paid for the mural, Roland. What did you pay for in this town?
Well, I mean, you're the budget. So you said that you wanted to spend this much on the mural, and you are now 3 times over that.
Wow, Roland, you're actually paying attention to the books. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I have a lot of time on my hands because now I don't have to make all of the decisions. So I've learned how to do basic math.
Okay, we'll cut back on something else. We'll make it work.
Okay.
It's important to the financial system, the Northwood Buds.
Yeah. But with Jury's arrival at the scene, the sound of music goes off. There's fireworks released in the air because everyone now notices that the 5 ticket takers have arrived into this space of honor. And with the explosion of fireworks in the air, much like the magic that Jury is so famous for wildly casting, it's almost as if we see images of Jury's future in those starlight remains of the falling firework pieces. And what do we see for Jury's future?
You see Jury is the kind of person who can't sit still after something like this, and given his time frame, feels especially so. Every time any of you see Jury, he's clamoring for all the time he can get with you. Doesn't really tell you why, but you probably get the hint of what's going on. He's pouring more and more into getting this school running. It is a bardificing school, but the bard element of it is more of like investigative journalism kind of bards. They're like, they're more on that side of things. And he's been working with Iris still to see if they kind of work together on certain things in that aspect as well.
And one of the days when you go to meet with Iris, you travel to Anervir, something that you don't like to do so much. And Iris's office is in a different space. And she's left a note for you to find her somewhere else. And you travel to the Hill of Voices, which for anybody in Anervir knows was a perfunctory establishment of people who spoke for the people but had no real power. And you find yourself in the Hall of Voices, and Iris in her wheelchair is standing at the center of the hall. The seat's now empty, and she's looking around, and she welcomes you. Well, the king followed through with his promise.
What we did that day was really important. What you did saved a lot of people.
Well, as the newly elected chancellor of the Hall of Voices, and with the new constitution drafted, I think we can make some real permanent change.
That's all I've ever wanted. I still think my town's better, but
So you're sure I can't get you on my staff?
Sorry, you know me. I've got the school now and everything.
Well, I look forward to seeing how it all plays out with Vox Populi out of the shadows.
I think so too. It saved my life, you know.
What else for Jury's future?
So Jury reaches out to Bolton to try to hire him to work at the Bartificing Academy because he knows he doesn't have a job and he could maybe. He says it kind of a little rudely, probably. I know you're not employed right now, so
I'm still a risk breaker, Jury.
Are you sure? Is that a thing? They're doing that still?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, like,
what are they paying you? I'll pay you more than that.
But I don't know anything about barding or
what do you
magic.
know about benefits? How about 401g?
401g. And he's like, well, I suppose.
Well, there's also like a combat element. You know, there's
I guess this.
we're teaching the bards like how to, better research subjects.
Well, I suppose I can come put them through their paces, yes.
Thank you. It'd be so helpful. People are very intimidated by the term bartificer for some reason. I think it's fun. It was supposed to be fun and like a branding thing.
Well, it does sound. There's a lot of consonants.
That's like, but that's like a fun thing, right? People like consonants.
I suppose, but you know what else had a lot of consonants? Risk breaker.
Yeah, they sound this. Okay, you guys do have a pretty cool logo. We'll work on it. We're in progress.
So what else for Joe?
So he also takes the fox we got from the library and
Silver.
with Nairoy makes him like a bookshop spot so that Nairoy can have his own bookshop cafe and Silver can have the tomes and all the tomes we rescued, which were also probably a big draw to the city. Come read the fucking these tomes. So Jury helped Nairo build that. They don't get married. I don't think everyone else got married. I'm sure
that's fine.
He's got a lot going on. Yeah, and I think that's the most of the spread of things.
All right.
He just keeps up with everyone. Anytime y'all set foot in town, he's all over you.
As the celebration goes and you all reconnect with one another.
And Josh, there's like a big drape over a sign in the town.
Okay.
As we're getting towards.
Yeah. You all are pulled together and there is pomp, somewhat pomp and circumstance, but it's mostly a celebration. There's people, you see Princess Alyria, who no longer calls herself Princess Alyria. Lenaria comes. Ogun and Orisha are there. Jury's father, Warren Windsor. Minora comes down from Anervir to pay homage. Phileas Voltswitch makes a visit to Broadfield for the celebration. And then Yara and Danton and Callianne come up from the order for the day. Lady Mizmira, who has set up a fortune-telling shop and crystals and tarot cards and things shop in Broadfield has arrived. And you all aren't quite positive, but you do keep thinking that you see an haggardly old woman out of the corner of your eye, as in the nearby swamps to Broadfield, there's supposedly a new lady that you can go see if you have questions about love potions or promises that need to be kept, or anything else, as the Baba Yaga perhaps has made herself present this day. But the celebration goes off, and then for a moment, in the sound of all of these people excited and talking and eating and enjoying the presence, you do all find yourself again together for the first time in a while. Each of you older, each of you more rested than you've ever been. But you have a moment here at the festival to reconnect.
I'll scoop you all up and the biggest hug. I'm so glad you're all here. Sorry, I've been running around all morning trying to get everything ready.
It looks great.
It looks amazing.
Thank
It
you.
is literally unrecognizable as Broadfield.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah. It's been good.
I like the Northwick buns.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yes. Home of the Northwick bun. A big part of our branding. Right under Ticket Takers, the ones who saved the world. Home of the Northwick bun is like right.
Yeah.
right
Very
under
important
that.
as well.
Right.
Yeah, we've petitioned to change the town of Northwick's name so that it doesn't confuse things.
Right. We've copyrighted it, which is a bit weird for them, so we are in an outstanding legal but it'll resolve.
But jury's taking care of it, so I have no doubt that it will work out well.
I have some plans. Do you all want to sit down for a dinner?
Yeah.
Get a drink?
Absolutely.
Trust me, we have more than milk now, so.
What did you rename the Golden Ass Tavern to?
Oh no, I liked that.
Okay, so it's still
that was fun.
it's still the Gilded Ass Tavern.
Yes,
and
it's fantastic.
you all make your way in. It is as beautiful as it ever was. Sora.
We're going to have a chance to meet all of the new recruits to the
Adventuring
To the guild?
Academy.
Oh, for sure. They should be here for the opening ceremony, so I'm sure a lot of them want to walk around and see it.
Oh, I brought something back that I want to leave here. And I'm gonna reach into my pack and I'm gonna take out a snow globe.
Oh, buddy. Thank you.
What's it a snow globe of?
You know.
As you go into the Gilded Ass, Sora, who is kind of taken over as the main leader of the tavern and the Adventurers Guild here in Broadfield, comes up and is like, well, gosh, it's so good to see all of you. Come on, is that a magic item that is for the guild?
Oh, it's not magic.
Oh, it's not. Okay, well then it goes on the shelf, and she puts it on like a trinkets shelf where there's other like things in a place of honor. She goes, well, Tavik is cooking today. I thought that you all, I didn't know if you all would want festival foods or if you wanted a home cooked meal.
I looked to everyone else.
It's been a while since I had a home cooked meal.
I quite agree, Kaimana. There's nothing better than a home cooked meal with lots of bacon.
Well,
Tarvik has proved surprisingly adept at cooking meat.
Good to know.
Tavik, Sora kind of glances and she's like, Tavik has proved quietly adept at a lot of things. So let me go ahead and get dinner ready for you all. The space is open to you. We're keeping the general public out of here so that you have a quiet space before we do the unveiling, right, Jerry? I'm not sure exactly what time you have that scheduled.
Yes, shortly after we're done.
All right. And so Sora goes off, and as you take your seats, and moments later, Tavik comes out with a beautiful spread of food for all of your various different likes. There's beautiful clams and vegetable dishes and pocket bacon and all of the things that would remind you of your adventuring days. Here before you as you have a quiet dinner in the den of the festival that is surrounding the rest of the town.
Which is
At
really
some
nice.
point, I have to take a milk-drunk Thistle down because all he's doing is incredible tricks. It's not your backflips anymore. We spent a year on it. It is front flips, just incredible dives. It is unlike anything that you think the human body could pull off, much less that
squirrel.
of a squirrel.
It's the mini skateboard when he pulls off the handstand ollie.
Yeah.
That really is the pièce de resistance.
He's so
We didn't
good.
escape.
I rolled a natural 20. Jesus.
Yes, he's incredible.
That's just.
I'm a little
gonna-
drunk, and I'm like, "You want a job in this town, kid?"
I'm not going to roll
Sorry,
another
that's a
die for the
squirrel.
rest of the campaign. The campaign ends with a natural 20 for Thistle.
That's
Started with a nat 20 on a backflip, and that's how we end it.
Yep. All right. Any conversation that you would like to have here? You've got some time before Jury unveils whatever Jury has for you in the thing that is veiled within the city.
Should we make this like a tradition, like we all meet back here?
I was thinking we should do something like that.
I like that idea.
that.
Jury's
I
like
think-
really quiet.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
What do you think? Like every 5, every 10 or so? We could do it every year.
I think you all should meet once a year.
You make it
Once
sound
a
like
year
you're not
would be
going to be
nice.
here.
We all should meet. Judy.
No, I mean we all should.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And if
Just-
one of us
Oh.
can't make it one year, then don't make it the next.
Right.
Sure.
But we
I think
we try to be
I'll-
here.
I'll probably
We
give
have
out
a lot of time.
gifts. I'll probably give out gifts to everyone, like a set of sending stones that we can all use just to touch base with each other every now and again. You know,
Are you sure you can't build me an Anansi, like a little, like I would love one at some point?
well, with the
Why don't you make
Sortis'
one at
gifts,
this
I'm
like
sure.
Bartificer thing you got going on?
Bardificer, thank you. The D.
yeah,
It can be the final project, and the best one gets to have theirs be the personal.
The best one gets taken away from you.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's
Don't
Get to
worry.
It's
gift it to the school founder.
It's so good that it's worthy of the ticket takers.
This is why Source teaches the
I
kids
don't like our
balance.
celebrity status. I don't. Mm-mm. This is why I don't live here most of the year.
Yeah, they really do always ask you for an autograph or take out the swords. It's like, stop asking them to take out the swords.
It's
Take
always
the
take out the
swords.
swords and.
Always.
Yeah, I should.
No one even wants to see the god
out of
bow.
Summoning the swords all the time.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
cool.
You do look badass with the swords, though, Bar.
I mean, you could take out the swords right now and no
Swords
one
are
will
quite
get upset.
impressive.
Well, I'm well aware, but you know, Naginda lets me keep them. So, and as Mar references Naginda, you know that Naginda sometimes travels with Mar, but I think Naginda helps run the orphanage most of the year.
Aw. Oh, wow.
They're pretty
I
good
can-
with. They're
I can
pretty
make
good with
your own
kids.
personal Anansi, if that's what you want.
Yes, it is what I want, especially if you're not going to be here.
I'll get to work on it right away.
Thank you.
Let's stop talking about not going to be here when we're all here right now.
Yeah.
You're right.
Living the
You're
moment.
absolutely right.
Let's have a toast.
We're all away from the kids for a minute. God, who would thought 3 of these college dropouts would have so many children? Okay. Maybe 4. I look at Kaimana.
What are you looking at me for?
You literally said the rats were your children.
Like, I mean, metaphorical children.
What do you, Mars are all metaphorical, but you know,
I can't get some of them to stop calling me mom. And then sometimes I do something cool and they start yelling, "Yes, mother!" And I don't know what that's about at all.
like Jasmine? Like
How do
mother?
they come
Like
up with
she's
these
a
things?
mother?
I don't know.
As someone with mommy issues, I don't ascribe to that. Well, but yeah, let's have a toast. Kaimana as the leader?
Here's to the ticket takers. Many
The ticket- oh, sorry.
many adventures in the past, and I'm sure we aren't done yet.
You're here. Also, you can all
The
stop
ticket-
fucking with me. I know Kaimana's not the leader. Right? Are we finally gonna drop that?
What?
You're not the leader, right? Like Mars or Abel, Saurus.
That is not a
Kamana is the
position I
leader. He
want
is
to
the one
take.
that named the ticket takers. He is the one that named the something ticket this way
I
comes.
really thought
If you
this was
look
like
at
a
the rest of
long-term
us,
show.
do you think any of us would have nominated ourselves to
I
be the
didn't-
leader, or do
I didn't
you
even
think
get-
it would have been Kaimana?
I didn't.
And we
I
all
don't.
just
Yes.
went, okay.
I mean, I didn't even get a ticket, so I'm just confused about the whole process, honestly.
I've still got the stub, so I'm gonna take it out and show it to.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Nostalgia.
Nah, see, because we had to get tickets to get the prizes, like that snow globe up there that I just brought back.
That's how you started. These are the tickets from when you started adventuring?
Yeah, well, this is mine. I don't know where theirs are.
I have mine. It's in my notebook.
Yeah, I'm sure Abel never throws anything away.
Can I borrow yours, Kaimana, for the opening ceremony?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
You want the snow globe?
I did take one. Ha! I took a ticket. Anyway, sorry. Hell yeah.
Tricky.
That's the Fae lifestyle.
Mhm.
No, not Fae. Only partially. All right. Well, whenever you're ready.
Fae, have we heard anything from the Fae Wild since they've closed their doors to?
Drury makes some kind of prestidigitation sound outside using subtle spells, so you can't tell he did it. And he's like, "Oh, crazy! Looks like it's time to get started. That's wild.
Yep.
You guys want to drink on the road? We can take it."
Can I roll a perception?
You may roll a
Or is it
perception. I don't think you need to, but you may. Insight.
It's an insight.
Yeah.
I think my passive insight is just like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have a passive 18. Is that gonna?
Yeah, that's enough.
Jury's
You all
acting weird.
know that Jury's acting weird. You all know that Jury's trying to change the
Oh, okay.
subject. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I mean,
'Cause
we
don't
can
know
drink.
about the-
We can drink outside. This place is cool. You know, it's my city. It's cool.
Kaimana walks out with a glass of milk.
All right.
Okay, you have. There's like a
Okay.
little spot for you to return the glass later,
Yeah.
but you have to.
Well, as we're like walking out, I'll just kind of like take Jury's hand and go, you know, when you go, I am more than happy to go with you.
I know, but you have a lot here, and they need you.
I need you. You're my cousin.
But
Besides, I'm the one who's been there before, so, you know, maybe I
That's
know a
true.
little bit more than you,
Okay.
Mr. Halfbay.
hey, I don't know anything about it, so I might pick your brain for it. We're like punching, like joke punching it.
Just jabbing.
You all walk out onto the front porch of the Gilded Ass Tavern, which has kind of been returned into almost like a stage. And the people have regathered here and are cheering with your arrival, just in time for the unveiling of what Jury had prepared for you all.
Sure. Drury goes up, and he's like, you know, we're here, the Bard Facing School, to announce this, but more importantly, this is where the ticket takers first got together.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but they were the people that were going to change my life, and I didn't even know it yet. And I couldn't ask for better friends or family. So, with all that said, I hate formality. My shoes hurt, and I'm ready to get drunk. So, Jury holds up Kaimana's ticket, and then takes the mage hands the sheet across, and it just says Ticket Town instead of Broadfield.
Oh.
Now it's Ticket Town, bitch. We live in. I'm sorry, Josh. You gotta change the map. It's called Ticket Town now.
Okay. As you all,
It's Jury's town now.
it's Jury's town now.
It's literally his town.
As you all kind of go through the evening celebrating, reconnecting with your friends and loved ones are there. At some point, Jury, you feel a tap on your shoulder and a hand take yours. I know this isn't the best of times, but look over there.
I look.
And you see the portal is open for you.
Yeah.
And Nairoy is standing there. He already has his bag and he has yours.
I motion for all the. I think the ticket taker's probably like a table.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'll like go over to them. Hey. It's time.
Zora stands up.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
stands up.
No,
All right, let's go.
no, I don't want you to come with me. This is my stupid parent bullshit. And I wanted to make this town so you would think about us all being together if something happens.
When will you
Jury,
be back?
you dealt with all of our stupid parent bullshit.
Besides, better chance of you coming back if we're there with you. That's what family does.
Besides,
I can put my plans on hold.
we're
go
not
with you.
going for you. We're going to help. We're the Adventuring Guild. We're the Ticket Takers. Saviors of the world, going to help the Feywild conflict.
I
It
know.
has nothing to do with you.
With the time dilation, how it works, I can't ask you to do that.
You didn't ask us.
I don't want to ask you. I'm telling you to
You
stay.
don't have to. It's.
Look,
You don't
I'm
have to
telling
ask.
you,
It's
I'm asking you to stay here. I'm
Jury,
gonna
we
be.
got lucky before. We've had a lot of luck on our side for a very long time. We will be fine.
It's your
We've talked
choice.
about this. Jane and I have talked about this. She knows what's at stake. Puts on his jacket.
I can't come with you right now. But take this coconut.
I've never been happier to see a coconut.
And if you really, really need me, find someone who can cast plant growth. And then get a message to me, and I'll be right with you.
Thank you. We have to leave now, I think. And I give Kaimana the mirror too. Here, you can check in on us.
I'm gonna give you a Northwick bun too. Be like, one for the road.
Yeah.
And as a group, Kaimana, you watch as Marlowe and Abel and Soris and Jury and Nairoy head off into the portal, and the portal closes behind them. But even though the celebration is here for them, it's people don't notice when the high table is empty, because there's a moment where you receive a call and you join them. And you all return to this exact moment in time, but have seen so much and have experienced so much in your time in the Feywild together. The celebration is held, it's quiet and surrounded by not the powerful and the mighty, but by your friends and comrades who you shared your breath and fought by your side. Here the people of Ticket Town honor the ticket takers and the new world you've given them, watered by your blood and sweat and determination, surrounded by those you love. This chapter closes with what is an ultimate ending: change. Each of you, lonely and separate in so many ways, have found a family, have found your voices and purpose, have found your strength and what you fight for, and here, finally, have found the freedom to rest and wait for those tomorrows waiting for each of you that we've only caught glimpses of, but there's so many more. And as our eye here pulls back, zooming higher into the sky, and see an endless and uninterrupted land going all the way to the gently waving ocean and lands beyond, we know you've given so much to the people, and so many adventures in forgotten lands and frontiers beyond. Together, we've told a story of unlikely beginnings and unmanageable endings, of underestimated heroes, of truth, of love, of betrayal and forgiveness, of loss and returning. While there are many tales that could have been told, this one was ours. And the sun may set here, on this moment, on this time. The ticket takers will live on. And who knows what the future may hold and when we will see them again. But where one chapter closes, so many more may open. It's been a joy and an honor to craft this story with each of you. I love each one of you very much. I cannot wait to see and start writing the next chapter together. But that will have to wait till next time.
I
Oh,
love y'all.
thank you guys.
Agreed.
This was a lot of fun.
This was everything.
Best.
How long have we been doing this?
We're about to hit our 4-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Holy
We started
cow, it
in
doesn't seem
July
like
of 2020.
July of
Yeah.
2020. Mhm.
it feels like
Ugh.
maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
It does not feel like 4 years. It's true.
I
But
cannot
that's-
I cannot equate to how like perfectly that ended. Like
Mhm.
that was top notch.
It's like hard to even feel like sad in this
Yeah.
moment. Like, I mean, there is that, but it's like that was just so beautiful and comforting, and what a lovely way to say goodbye.
It was such a good one. Yeah.
And
It was.
I like that. We're just going to jury.
Yeah.
Just,
Well,
it's
I already-
not a discussion.
I already told Jury and Marlo that I had an idea for a return one shot with the ticket takers of your trips to the Feywild. So we'll see, we could get to see what happened when you all
And,
went to
and
the
the thing
Feywild.
is, Kaimana is a god, so even if we return,
Not
to
a
the
god.
exact- but
Just
a
immortal.
shepherd.
Yeah.
But because he has these mystic abilities, the fact that we disappeared and showed back up at the same moment, he has the ability to step between those times over to the other with the coconut.
Yep. Mhm.
Yep.
We get the
Oh.
band back together.
Kaimana teleported in seemingly in 1 second and then did a bunch of shit with us and came back.
Mhm.
Yeah, Roland probably
That's
found a folder that was like, when I'm gone for 100 years, Roland, you better abide by this fucking folder. You fuck.
He's just breaking the seal on it, and you like storm back in and yank it out of his hand.
You don't deserve this.
Thank you.
You don't need this.
No.
It's all good.
Yep.
Ugh. So good.
I like
Johnny.
Even
everybody's
Roland
in
became a
story.
better
It's-
man during this campaign. That's
Roland,
Everybody,
yeah.
everybody had
Yeah.
fun little things that, okay, I could have guessed this, but I would never have guessed that.
All right, Josh, you need to watch the first 3 episodes of Free Ren. Like,
Okay.
right now this
Oh,
I need to go
yeah.
find it.
because that is it's like what we just experienced is how that series starts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, it's like
So sweet.
perfect. Like this is the moment to watch it.
If you all go back and rewatch the very first episode, I just copped the opening monologue of it for this
Oh.
as well.
It sounded
I noticed some of
familiar.
that.
It was my bedtime listening.
And I was love that and then Jace picked up on it and gave exactly Jace's first line from the first episode.
I was the first one to
So
show up
good.
in the beginning of the game, so I gave my. It was originally,
remember
all
what-
right, Mar, you talked to like 5 people last year. That's a new record. You can do
Yes,
that.
I love
So
that line.
I
It's so
gave
good.
I
Yeah.
gave the nod, knowing that if no one else caught it, it was for Josh alone.
I loved
Sounds
it.
No,
Okay.
no, that was beautiful, and it shows the. I mean, everybody had character growth. I mean, that's
Mhm.
that's the fun
Yeah,
thing is
yeah.
that everybody had an arc.
Yeah,
Even though Jersey's
and it was
full
so
of
great because
different-
it felt both so like it's just so natural. I don't think any moment like from like character choice or growth from a player or any narrative moment from Josh ever felt forced at all. It felt so natural and just part of the way the story would go.
Well,
I agree with that 100%.
and next week we'll do our talk back about it all. Ace is going to be the MC of the night. And so if I shared that document with you also, if you have any like other questions or like specific NPCs that you want me to go over, we're going to kind of do like, what did you decide for the format, Ace?
I think it's like a DM question, a general question, and a question from them, something like that.
Or maybe like a general question for all of us to
Whichever
talk
way you
about,
put
and then like a character specific stuff, and then maybe if you have a question for me, and then
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
General question, character question, GM question.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
last 15 minutes, I'll do the prologue for campaign 2.
Oh, a teaser.
Amazing.
We love a teaser in this
A
house.
little